Hi, I'm Justin.
And I'm Kyle.
And we are talking about the Chaos Bringer. If you haven't noticed, my brother here likes Transformers.
They're alright.
So we thought we'd talk about Unicron, the Unicron toys specifically. We'll go into the character a little bit. A lot of this stuff you can't buy directly.
Right, they're old toys.
You gotta get them on the aftermarket. Do you have any idea what this stuff is worth now?
In box, they've remade this figure several times. This is the Unicron from Armada.
Well, he's looking that up. You guys know Unicron was introduced in the 1986 Transformers the movie. We saw it in the theater as children.
Left it crying.
And left it crying, as many children did. And he was introduced as this new bad guy, because how can you get more bad than Megatron? Well, how about a guy who kind of looks like, I don't know, he's a cross between Genghis Khan and the devil.
Well, he's got the beard. I mean, robots with beards. You can't get better than that.
Oh, yeah. No, nothing's more evil.
Nothing's more evil.
I mean, Alpha Trion is the only guy who could pull it off.
Yeah, and he was introduced earlier. He was in the second season, I believe. And then this guy.
Yeah.
And they started, hey, beards are cool.
Robots with beards.
Robots with beards. That makes a lot of sense.
Famously, Unicron never got a toy back then. There was a prototype. One, you said, made it pretty far into production, but never...
I think it was actually shown off at a convention toy fair, New York Toy Fair, something like that. It was shown off, but it was never released.
Was that the expense, or why did they pull it? Do you know?
It was probably because I don't think the movie did very well. Kids crying.
20 years later, they finally give us a toy form of Unicron.
The first Unicron toy, a Cybertron Unicron Deluxe Class 2006, it was a small tank thing. I do not own that one. And then in 2008 was this guy, and he's been re-released several times. He was also in a black color.
Didn't they retool him to be Primus?
Yes, he was retooled as Primus. He transforms into a half circle, so it's like a sunny side up planet. So where the maw, the teeth are facing up, and then the rings on a platter.
He's more like a Sarlacc. I guess. So this is not the first Unicron, but this is the first one that actually looked like the guy from the movie.
Yeah, Supreme Class was what he was labeled as. And,
that means he comes with sour cream, right?
And tomatoes.
That's what Supreme.
He had this gimmick that works perfectly. You would press the Minicon, press him in the back, put it right in the right spot, and he shoots out his missile.
And I didn't think about it till we were talking about it before we started shooting, but Unicron is a twin, just like we are.
Well, depending on the story, yeah. He was the brother of Primus. And there's different stories where he came from, but one of them, I guess the prevailing one is one was the ultimate good, one was the ultimate evil. Primus tricked Unicron to flying into asteroids, so they were trapped in this corporal form, because before they were basically like space ghosts. Slowly they were able to change that asteroid into a figure. So they used the metals within it to become a metal person.
Okay.
That was one of the stories.
Okay. But he's basically a space demon.
Yeah, he's
Space Satan.
He's Space Satan.
Of course, he was voiced by Orson Welles. That was his last role he ever did.
He did.
He was very, very sick.
Director said he, it's very large, overweight, in a wheelchair, had trouble breathing. That's why they did the reverb on his voice so heavily, to cover up his labored breathing. He did War of the Worlds. It was one of his first things. Was it the first thing?
It was the thing that made him really famous.
Yeah, so it was War of the Worlds, and then his last role was he was a world
that warred on people. Wow, nice little bookends.
So, yeah.
And, he passed away before the movie came out?
I think it was 3 months after recording. He passed away.
Okay. And Unicron does have a cool voice.
For a time, I considered sparing your wretched little planet, Cybertron.
He does. I learned lots of vocabulary from that movie when I was a kid, like dubious.
Your bargaining posture is highly dubious.
And now we brought out the big boy, the latest Unicron.
This is, by the way, the HasLab Unicron. That was crowdfunded a few years ago. He weighs 19 pounds.
Let's move him so we can talk about him. And then we'll transform him.
So,
oh God, he poked me in the eye. He's still bringing chaos.
Yeah, he's evil.
So what is HasLabs? Explain
HasLab is, if you know what Kickstarter is, it's a crowdfunding service, but Hasbro did it in-house. The only way you could get this figure in the beginning was to crowdfund it, and he was just under $700.
And then once that's closed, it didn't go to market, or did it?
No.
Could you buy it from HasLabs after that?
No. A couple retailers, like Big Bad Toy Store, got some, and then they just recently got a second wave of this guy for significantly more money.
Really?
Yes. More than double, I think. So on Big Bad Toy Store, he sold out very quickly at $1,500.
What? So, if you're a huge Transformers fan, this is like the holy grail, right?
This is the ultimate. Neatest thing about him is just the presence. He's enormous. When you see him, like, even you know how big he is, you know the size of the box he is because you read the dimensions and everything. And when you get it out of the box, you're like, oh my goodness, this thing is huge.
And it's so accurate to the movie.
It's pretty accurate.
They've put in some gadgets. You added the lights.
Yes.
The lights did not come with it at all.
No, so the lights, those are bicycle lights I got. We'll put a link below. If you have a Unicron, you want to put bicycle lights. I just got orange bicycle lights and just wrapped it around the ring, and it makes a really impressive display. He's a very good lamp.
The head light you got from the Atlanta Brick Co.
I got that from the Atlanta Brick Company. It's a brick light for Lego displays, and I just put in the eyes. And they do make lots of aftermarket lights for the head. A lot of them, you have to take the head apart to change the batteries, and then some of them you have to modify the insides. Some you don't. They're all different. But this one was very easy. I just took out some of the internals and just put some Lego bricks in there, and they light up. It works very well. And then I can turn it on from afar, and I can change the batteries just in here.
If someone did have the money, would you recommend getting this if they were a Transformer fan? Is it worth paying aftermarket prices for it?
I mean, it's great. $700, I feel like you're getting a $700 toy. It's also extremely unique.
They'll never make this again.
They'll never make this again. Hasbro has said they will never make this exact figure again. Now, whether they make another Unicron, they probably will, but they're not going to make this Unicron.
Other than space, which you've solved that problem for us, what is the bad part of owning this? Is there anything that you would change? You're like, oh man, I know some people complain about the paint apps on this face and stuff like that, and it didn't match.
Yeah, and some of the colors on the mouth originally this was all orange, which in a lot of shots in the movie it is orange in the movie. But again, the movie, the models weren't consistent. There was a shot where the maw was blue on the inside, at least one time. He was also more yellow in the movie, and they made him more orange. There's shots where he was a little more orange. Plus the degradation of film. When they remaster the film, it slightly changes the colors. You know, who knows what color he actually is, but I think this turned out very well.
All right.
In my humble opinion.
Let's transform him and see what he looks like. It's huge!
It's amazing.
Seeing this, you asked me, would I pay $700, $800 for this? If I was collecting Transformers, I would assume I see $700, $800 here. What are some of the features you were talking about that really make this guy stand out?
Well, he looks really good. My opinion, he looks fantastic. The paint is excellent. There's no paint bleed hardly anywhere. So when they painted this guy in the factory, I feel like they took extra care to make sure everything's correct. Because even newer Transformers, you'll get some paint bleed every once in a while. They've gotten way better in that in the past few years. But here, he's pretty much perfect. He's very posable, articulated fingers, super heavy ratchets. He comes with the stand. He can stand without the stand. But I wouldn't suggest that.
And you were saying this guy got a bad rap when you were watching people unboxings and reviews of it, that people were pretty hateful of this guy at first.
Some people were, yeah.
Okay. What were some of their opinions, and How would you lay them to rest?
Okay, so the biggest one was the mouth. The maw was a different color than the promo images. It was orange completely, and in a lot of the shots in the movie, it's orange. But in this one, the inside is blue, and then the teeth are orange. I think that probably started it.
It's like many things. I think people's expectations can heavily sway their opinion on this. You said people were expecting a masterpiece.
I think because of the price point, what people were expecting... but he's a Generations toy. So he's got that Generations aesthetic. He's got the Generations, and what I mean by that, he's in that banner of the Transformers Generations. They have a certain look about them. They have a certain, joint tolerances and stuff like that. Masterpiece is a different level. And I think a lot of people were expecting Masterpiece just because he was $700.
Yeah. But you said he was marketed as Generations. They never called him a Masterpiece.
No. He was under the banner of Generations. He even has the... ports for the blast effects that all the Generations had. So I see a lot of people, they're like, he's not worth it, blah, blah, blah. If you own this thing, you should not feel bad about it. This thing is amazing.
Unless you spent it on this instead of food.
That was dumb. You shouldn't do that.
You should do it only if you can afford it.
If you got it for the $700 range, the original price from Hasbro, this thing is totally worth that. The exclusivity and just the amount of plastic that's in this guy, because you're talking the other guys, the Titan classes that come up to his chin, smaller than this guy, are about 4 pounds each, and they're $150, $160, $170. He is almost 3 times that. In just the amount of plastic. He's about 4 times the cost. He's amazing. He's great. He's such a display piece. If you're not a dork like me and you don't transform him all the time, like me, and keep him as a lamp on your side of your bedside with the lights, he's amazing. Like you bring someone down to your man cave and there's a Unicron sitting there, it's
instant respect.
Yes.
Instant
how did you feel when you saw him?
I was like, bow to the king.
Yeah, and when Justin walked in, he was like, wow, he's big. And he's seen him before.
Yeah.
He forgot how big he was.
And it also comes with this little stand for the floating head and this little miniature ark.
That's not the Ark.
Oh, it's not. What is it?
That's the ship. I can't remember the name, but it is the ship that Hot Rod was using.
Oh, okay.
To fly around.
The dork.
The dork, yeah.
A lot of people said it took an hour to transform. Now, obviously, that's hyperbole.
Yes.
But how long does it take?
No, if you know how to transform him, he takes 20 minutes to transform. Slightly longer to go back to planet mode just because to get the panels all lined up, but he takes about 20 minutes to transform. And for those longtime Transformer collectors, the alternators...
Those took 15 minutes too, right?
Yeah, those. If you knew what you were doing to get all the panels to line up to get back into a car, the alternators, it took 15 minutes. So he takes 5 more minutes than them. It does not take an hour. If you watch the videos, Hasbro put out a transformation video. If you follow that, you're going to be fine. Don't be scared of this guy. There's all this online about...
I mean, be scared of Unicron.
Yes.
But not the toy.
Not the toy. Yeah.
And you saw a couple of people break their Unicron. What would you say in defense of that?
Don't use the instructions. If you are transforming him for the first time using the instructions, don't do that. Watch some videos. Watch Hasbro's official transformation video because they walk you through the correct steps. Yeah, the instructions aren't very good. They're also in the wrong order. The last thing the instructions show you is the first thing you need to do. And that's flipping up one of the...
That's kind of important.
That's kind of important, but to put him on the stand, you need to fold up a little flap. But when you pick him out of the box, that flap is down. And you're like trying to shove it on there. What do you think of him? Being a used-to-be Transformer collector.
Yeah, as a non-expert like you, I see the value in it. Mm-hmm. And you mentioned the exclusivity. Mm-hmm. That it's hard to put a price tag on that.
Yeah, Big Bad Toy Store did.
Yeah. They did. They had no problem putting a price tag.
But people want it, and it's sold out. If you have it, don't feel bad.
We should do a room tour.
Yeah.
We've got to do that soon. Thank you so much. Look for more videos from us, and subscribe if you'd like to see more content, and also tell us what other things you want us to review. It doesn't have to be toys, though we do like toys.
We like toys and board games.
And board games. New things that come into our lives we want to share with you and give you our opinion. Because we have those sometimes.
Opinions or lives?
It is the one thing, the only thing that can stop me.
Blair.